all of this will be automatically generated on the database. So you have to separate constraints with commas, which I didn't do earlier. And the other thing is, you have to. I've provided some references through the on the syllabus, which is available for free on, forget what it's called, Safari Books Online. So you can either reference that, or how many of you know of good online resources for SQL? Is anyone using it?
Like just the Microsoft documentation.
Okay.
MSDN on a lot of useful things there.
Okay. There is also something called SQL Course, which is there are so many that it's just called SQL Course 1 and SQL Course 2. Which is a free resource, and there's a 1 and a 2, I believe. Okay, I guess 2. There's also one of the first online resources, which W3 Schools, and they have a lot of different tutorials. One of them is for SQL. So there are a lot of resources. I would suggest that you sort of compile them, reference, and Eric said the Microsoft one is pretty decent for SQL.
I use it mostly for C#, but I'm pretty sure there's SQL on there too.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've compiled it in a way that if you want to look up something specific to SQL Server, there might be some document. It's not like a flow where they connect things together like over here. They basically go over various concepts here and there. Okay, so these are resources. As again, when you go into the workplace, one of the things to do is just compile a list of resources that you can reference and use. Okay. Let's see. So Ashley, since you and Logan, one of you, do you have data for your? Let me check how much data you have for. Once you create this foreign keys, then you have to insert data into it. So we have to decide: are we? Logan, did you continue using this primary key, or did you change to the ID?
I use the cross-conference ID.
Okay. So you made this as your primary key?
Yes.
Okay. Can you email your? I don't want to be spending another 15 minutes typing in sample data, so just email your SQL script to this email address. You can either copy, paste, or send it as an attachment.
Yeah, I'm sending the attachment.
Okay, so So this is Logan's, and he has, okay, so he has the conferences, and then what he has done is, instead of using the composite primary key, he has created this identity here. Now, the only issue is when you have an identity column, it's going to just keep generating new rows. It's never going to ask, so is there a duplicate? So if we, for example, if we accidentally, somebody clicks insert button 2 or 3 times, it'll just keep inserting it. So we said our objective is to prevent 3 of these 2 plus date begin. It cannot get repeated, right? But if you use what Logan has used, the ID as the primary key, can we create another primary key? So what is our objective? We don't want to repeat this combined, right? We want to avoid that getting in, because this is not going to avoid that duplication. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? Only if you understand it. Actually, what are we trying to accomplish? We want to accomplish what I had here. This combination shouldn't repeat, right? But if I try to put a second primary key, and even if I try to give it, like I use Leb's naming convention, it will still not allow me to do it. So the issue is, let me use this. Are you able to see this? It seems really small here. So let me see if I can increase the size. Okay, so you can see that it doesn't accept that, unlike earlier, which allowed it with the foreign key, so there can only be one primary key. So instead, does anyone know what he would use here instead of primary key? There is a concept called, the generic name is called alternate key, but the way you implement it, and this is where documentation in Microsoft will be useful, the way SQL Server implements it is with a keyword called unique. So what we are wanting to do is, since it's an alternate key, I'll just call it something like alt key. I guess alt is no longer considered a good term to use. Right? So, anyways, it has some I don't know what connotations from the political arena. So, anyways, we'll keep it as alt key. It will be politically incorrect, I guess. So the alternate key for college conference is we are going to make this combination unique. Okay. And what else are we doing? And this is something, how many of you understand what Logan has done here? Okay. Okay, yeah. Good stuff.
He's making sure that you're on some dates that where the end date is before the start date.
Yeah, so this is the third type of constraint. Well, actually now we introduced unique. It's the fourth type that other than primary foreign keys, the check constraint to validate data. Okay, so, and the other thing he has done when he's inserted into the conference, college conference, he has said that begin date, end date, college ID. He's using a built-in method. What does this get date do? Yeah. It gets the current date. Okay. So this is though this is not necessarily a good thing because well, you're not, when you're setting up your test data, you want to set it up where you have something like WVU getting into a conference, getting out, getting back in. And the other is, if I asked you what is this indicating whenever we say get date here?
Means that they're still in the conference.
Does it mean that, Eric?
Like, if you check it on the day that they leave the conference, I feel like that could be kind of confusing.
Yeah, what if this is the date that they actually leave the conference? They could be, since there are hundreds of colleges. So you are implying that every college is basically leaving on this date. So instead, I'm going to use, let's say this is WVU, left the conference somewhere, let's say 31/12. I guess I don't know if you can use day, month. I think it's month. Okay. Month, day, year. Okay, so we'll use 2000. I'll have to put the dates in single quotes. So WVU leaves the conference, goes into the, well, I guess Big East, and then I'll put them back in the Big 12. Goes to 2, 1, 2, 1, okay. So the start date is also going to be different. So this is going to be 1/1/2001, and let's say they were there until 2010. Then 1/1/2011. They leave. Well, they are back in the Big 12. How do I know that they are continuing to be in the Big 12? Really? Okay, use null. Okay, the same concept for the others. I'll just use, so are these all different teams? Okay, let me get this. Copy paste this into my. Okay. If I just go ahead and execute this, will I encounter any problems? Okay. Could not find scope procedure. Okay. Let's insert into. Okay, you can see that there are could not drop college, could not drop conference. Ashley asked me this question last time. Why is this happening?
You have to have college, how to draw a college conference for it, because it's referencing.
Okay, so what's the rule of thumb that, well, what's the principle that you have to use to, whenever you're dropping tables, what can you not do? Kash, what can you not do and what should you be doing? Okay, what do you have to drop tables? You don't have college conference. Well, who else has this? Do you have it? But you were supposed to do it prior to coming here, right?
I did, but I just, I didn't have the support keys, so I tried doing where we just did it now.
Yeah.
I get it wrong.
Okay. So what is the issue then? It's again, I want you to think through, reason through it, because if you just see the answer, it's not going to be of much value if you have to make it.
Wouldn't you want to put college conference first because it executes the first if statement, and since we're getting problems with the first two because of the last one, would it be logical to put it?
Okay, but what is the underlying reasoning for it? It will solve the problem, but why does it solve it, Krista?
Because your college conference table is referencing college and conference, and if you're dropping those first, then college conference will be the X reference.
Okay, Krista explained that very well. It is because this college conference is referencing these two. So this is a child table which has these two as parents. So if these two didn't, if what it's saying is if you drop a parent and for whatever reason database terminology literally uses the human terminology. So if a child, well, in this, so if a parent is deleted, the child, well, they call them orphan rows, but really, I guess in the analogy is only if both the parents are deleted would it be considered an orphan in real terms. But even if one of the parents is deleted prior to deleting the child, it would be considered an error. So which means that whenever you're dropping tables, what's the general principle you need to use? Yeah, what?
Drop the children first.
Okay. Yeah, so you drop the children before you drop the parents, and if there, in some cases, you might have multi-level, so you might have a grandparent, parent, and child. So unfortunately, this database gives the older somebody is, the more prominence they get. So the grandparent essentially will be the last to disappear off the database. So you'll have to start with the lowest level. If it's a grandchild, essentially, then that would be it. Okay. I don't know how I'll make up the exam, but these are things that you need to know. I guess there is the spring recess starting, well, next week. For all of you, I'm teaching an online course, so I don't get any recess. Anyways, it's on business data analytics, and if at some point you're interested, I will bring some of the material in. But anyways, so we'll have the exam. I won't subject you to it immediately after you come, in case your mind is elsewhere. But you'll probably have to do it the week after. Whatever that date is, so it's going to be, it's not this week, but the week after, so it's probably 21st and 23rd of March. So at that point, you have to understand all these concepts and be able to put them together. And also, even after I do this, if I continue on, you can see that I still have an insert error, a conflict occurring. So can anyone point out why this conflict is occurring?
You have a 200 right there, so 101.
Oh, it should be 101? Okay. Okay, so that's the, okay, I still get the error. Well, that is one part of it, but why am I getting this error? Somebody should be able to tell me. We just discussed the concept. What could we not do? Whenever we are creating tables, what did we have to do? Yeah, Liz? So we create the parent tables first and then the child table, right? When we create it, the same concept, when we're inserting data, you insert into the parent tables first before you insert into the child table. So which means, what do I need to do? The simple solution is I have to move it to the after I insert into the other two. Select all from college conference. Okay, so now if I just run it, you can see it's going through generating data. Okay, so how do you go through a few questions? Which colleges are in the Big 12? What is the current conference for each college? I know that I saw that Logan had done it. How many others that you have done it? Okay. Marsh, did you have your hand up or were you scratching your head? Okay. I thought it went up and then it came down. Anyway, so let's see. Some of these are some easier. Let's see. Which colleges are in the Big 12? There is an option here for creating database diagrams. I don't know if I activated it on the server or not, but it may not have been activated. Let me just check that. It takes up a lot of resources to create the diagram, so okay, the backend does not support it. Okay, I didn't activate it. So you'll have, if you look at your class diagram, from there you can figure out how the connections occur for, there's my question, which colleges are in the Big 12. Okay, so So one of the things I try to do is I start from the from. Why do I start from the from? The query structure is select from, where. Is that all there is to it? What else can you have? Having group by. Is this order correct? Yeah. Well, order by, you probably, I don't know if you would have, if order by you'll have it if you're grouping, you usually don't include order by if you just had select from where. But if you did have having and group by, what's one thing you would have to do that you won't do this way? How many of you have used group by? Okay, if you've used group by, did you structure it this way? The having is the equivalent of what up here. So you have the where clause, which applies a condition on each row. The having applies a condition on each group. Okay, so that's why you'll have having after the grouping. Anyway, so if you had your the from first, then we'll get to the other. I'm not sure you need group by so far for any of the questions. So which colleges are in the Big 12? Which tables do you need for this? Okay, so are these two sufficient for finding out which colleges are in the Big 12? How do we, so you're saying where from college, and then college conference, so how do we bring in the second table? Yeah. Well, we need college name, so that's which colleges are in the Big 12. So we would want to include college because this provides the this has the college name for display purposes. And what else do we need to include? Logan and Chris, you said you used two tables. Okay, so it was college conference.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you bring that in?
I interjoined college conference. And I did college, I did college at C and then college conference at CC, and I did C.college ID equals CC.college ID.
Okay, you can give aliases, okay, so, and okay, so you use the college conference, and what's the next thing that you did? The where clause.
For the where clause, I just did a CC conference ID equals 100. Because that's what my Big 12 conference ID is.
Okay, and then what is the select?
My select was college name from college, or college.
Okay, if I were to run this, it's seeming to give something, but there are a couple of problems with it. Okay, Krista, what's the problem?
Well, I had a date end also because West Virginia was in the Big 12 twice.
Okay,
So this should be when it's left.
so what did you do?
In the select statement, I had a date end.
You added, what was it?
Date end. That should be when they left.
Okay, so you wanted to date and so by doing that,
And I can see why that's
okay, so so this is interesting. If you if you are using this in the present tense, it means that you're only interested in those that are there currently. So that's one issue. We are looking at colleges, current colleges, or colleges currently in the Big 12. Okay, so that's one issue. The second issue, who was it who said you included the third table as well? Okay, why did you include it?
If somebody's looking at this, not knowing that conference has a need that they need, they're going to type in Big 12, not because we for any other reason, but like.
So, Chris, how did you find out that Big 12 was 100?
I did a top 200 rows for college conference.
Okay.
Conference.
And then, so who did the lookup?
Then I just looked over to see
Who did it? Was it the system, or it was Chris who did it, right? It was you who did it. Now, if there are, you did it because there were only 3 or 4 conferences. If there are 100 plus conferences.
it would make sense another inner join.
So, and as far as the user is concerned, they don't know what 100 is. So you always have to look at it from the user's perspective, and I'm assuming that's what Liz and Eric and Ashley did. You brought in the third table. Okay, so which means you would do another. By default, if you just say join, it's an inner join. What are the other types of joins? Okay, let's see. I'll ask me in this one. Okay, so.
I don't know how to use that, but I know there is that.
Okay, so how many of you used all? Well, there are 4 essentially. So the inner join, left join, right join, and outer join. Okay, so if I just did an outer join here, and I just select this outer incorrect and expecting. I don't know if it's allowing outer joins. Maybe that's. Okay, so I think it goes as full join. Full outer join. Let me just check the syntax. Okay, I think it's uses full outer join. Okay, I'm not going to apply well, let's see, maybe I could apply. You had 6 rows. If I don't put the condition. Okay, what happened when I ran this as an outer join? it just got all of the rows. Okay, if I do okay, is there any difference? Did you see any different? How many rows were generated here for the inner join? 11. Okay. So there's one extra row being generated. Where is that coming from? Illinois? Okay, why is Illinois coming in? So what Logan did was, yeah, Eric, Logan has Illinois as one of the colleges. Now, what is unique about Illinois in this list of colleges?
They're not associated with the conference.
They're not associated with the conference, so I'm glad that Logan included that college without a conference. So what did the outer join do that the inner join didn't? Yeah.
It included the value even though it didn't have a conference.
Okay, so if you just add in the conference ID in the select and execute it, you'll see that all of the others have a conference ID value, but Illinois has null. So the outer join basically brings in everything from all the tables in the join statement, all the rows. All the rows from, in this case, obviously there are two tables, and you're bringing in all of the rows, regardless of whether they are joining on this condition or not. Okay. Okay, so that's and if you did this as if I did this as a left outer join, let's see what happens. How many rows did we get? We got the same as the full outer join. And if I do a right outer join, how many did I get? 11. So the right outer join is giving me the same result as an inner join, while the left is giving me something that's the full outer join. Why is that so? Okay, Megan?
Isn't it taking, it's going from college ID to, or the conference college ID to college ID?
From conference?
It's going from the conference, the college conference table to the college table instead of the college table.
So when we say right, what is it saying? I'm going to take everything that's on the college conference, all the rows on the right side, which is in this case college conference, and I'll connect it to, so everything, regardless of whether it's connecting to college or not, I'm going to take from the right side. But if you take it from college conference, what does your class diagram tell you? Everything that you take from college conference will be, what does it tell you? Every instance of college conference is what? How does it associate? What's that?
It's associated with the conference ID.
No. Okay, you have to pay attention. You have to think through it. If otherwise, if on your resume, I'll check in the comment section, you only have to put, I can draw boxes and lines, because we're not modeling. Okay, so if you claim that you can model, you have to understand what's happening, because if you understand that, I'm telling you you've not understood it, because if you understood it, you should be able to answer this question. You went off, so if you understand why is this live, why is this, if you understand this, why should this be very clear as to what's happening?
So if you start from, I mean, it looks left and right in the back diagram. So if you start from conference and you left join college conference, it'll keep all the values on the left in conference, even if the values on the right are null. If you right join from college to college conference, it'll keep all the colleges, even if the college conference is null. But that's not a thing.
Okay, but right here is the college conference, right? That since over here. So we said whatever is in the outer join, I'm taking everything from college conference, and then I'm connecting it to college. So regardless of whether there is a college conference instance that connects to college or not, okay? So can there be a college conference instance that does not connect with college? And why is that? Actually, why can you not have? Yeah. So essentially, this is basically saying that if you have an instance here in this table, the many-to-many, if it exists here, it necessarily has to connect with an instance here. Okay? So which means that if there is an instance in this table, it necessarily has something that joins to the college table. So is there going to be anything which has a null? So essentially, will you have a college name being null with just the conference ID? The answer is no, because anything that's here will connect here now with the college. Now, if I made this a left outer join and ran this, what's the result? There is this extra row, right? Because what does that show you from the diagram? There could be colleges that are not in any conference. So you should be able to see this model and be able to tell what the result will be here. Okay, only then are you really understanding what's happening with this model. Even before we write any code, you should be able to clearly say, looking at this, that this will be the result. That's the underlying logic. Only then are you really understanding the modeling. Now, coming back to all this exercise was to hopefully understand the different types of joins. Okay, so I will just keep it as inner join. And then I will do another inner join on conference, and I'll have to use something else. What's that?
It doesn't matter, I use CN.
CN? Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't want to go with CO and give a negative connotation again, I guess. Yeah, well, I think it takes it, yeah. Okay, so this is set to, what are we equating it to? Okay. Okay, so that's about it, and then instead of this, you can change it to Big 12, and why is this now complaining? Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I have to change where to conference in on ID.
Okay, this from conference. I don't have
You just
conference.
put name.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah, CN. And I should probably capitalize it because I use uppercase. CN. Okay. Yes.
As if the conference ID is sometimes ambiguous.
Yeah, it's ambiguous because it's coming from, there's potentially two different tables, so I'll just make this conference name. I'll just run this now. You should. Okay, so we have still not resolved currently in the Big 12. Somebody was, all of you have, okay. Chris? Well, how do I get colleges currently in the Big 12?
You would want, well, with basically what you want to do is you want the where statement to find, or where the date ends is null.
Okay, good. So how do I do that?
Would you deal with the your and statement, then you would just do BC dot date ends equals null.
Okay. You cannot use an equals here. Does anyone? Yeah. Yeah. Is. Okay. So I put this. So that tells you that these are the colleges currently in the conference. Okay. The other questions, when was WV and the Big East Conference, what's the current, which conference was, okay, I think if you can figure one of these out, I think the others should be relatively straightforward. We have only 3 or 4 minutes left. The only thing, have you been exploring stored procedures in 353? So how would you convert this into a stored procedure? Yeah, I'll go with Megan first.
Create procedure or PRC.
Okay, I'll go with procedure.
SP,
Okay.
get colleges and whatever you want to name it.
Okay, get colleges. I don't want to call it get colleges in Big 12 because why would that not be a good name? Then it would be that I've hard-coded that in. I don't want to hard-code it in.
Get colleges and a conference.
Yeah, get colleges in a conference. And also you might want to avoid, I don't know if Dr. Nazir uses SP, but if you, I don't know if you look inside programmability, stored procedures, what do you think the system uses as its prefix? SP. DBO doesn't, what does DBO stand for? The database owner, it's been created by the system. So I tend to, I mean, you obviously don't want to do this in whatever convention Dr. Nazir uses. You use that for 353, but I use PROC because the system procedures use SP. Okay, so if you had this, yeah.
What do you want to put currently, like mention that it's current?
Okay, get colleges currently in a conference. Okay, good. Okay, and then okay, let's begin, and then what else? Parameter. Okay. So parameter, open, close. Okay, what's the parameter? Okay, conference name, and what's the size of it? 200. Okay. You want to separate each of these statements with the goal separator, and what else do I need to do? Maybe.
You need to put your Big 12 to that conference.
Yeah, change this. Okay, then finally, after you create it, so if I went ahead and created this, how would I execute it? I see only two hands up. Who else? Ashley? Okay, I'll put execute the name of the procedure and then conference name equal Big 12. Okay, so I usually put it in comments right below so that when I create it, it's created with some data to be able to run it. So if I run this, so when you come to class next, I want you to bring, go over all of these and make it into these stored procedures. So if it's a stored procedure, if you go into your, once you created it, where can you find it? Yeah, what?
Programmability.
Okay, so you can go into program.
Database that you're in.
Okay. So if I go into programmability, I should be able to see it under stored procedures. But what I want to do is, we obviously need to move on to MVC and generate the tables and the database structures from here. I want you to bring your use cases to class for your project so that we'll discuss it with Visual Studio Team Services. Yeah, the user stories.